Hi friends, welcome to Shine with Marilena Cortez and Mark Sedgwick. We are so excited to have you joining us today. It's just another day, another opportunity to shine bright and learn from each lesson and each trial that we go through in life. So let's start with Mark Sedgwick and the quote of the day.
Hello everybody, welcome to the show. Mark here, welcome back. So today's quote of the day is, do not go through it, grow through it. So what does that mean? So I'm trying to think about it in the art perspective or the creative perspective of like, so you're just say you're just starting off painting, and don't just go through it. Look at everything you're doing wrong and don't dwell on it, right? People would dwell on, oh man, the brush, it looks ugly, this. Yeah, it looks ugly, but like, well, maybe it looks ugly. But, don't just go through that. Grow through it. Don't just fail. I think that's the biggest mistake people make is they fail. Like you were saying earlier, Cobe. Oh, well, first I'll welcome our guest, Cobe Solomon, to the show. But, so, yeah, people like fail. For comedy, people would like fail, and then they would never come back to it. They would just fail, and they would never learn. I think that's the biggest thing that people should do when they quote-unquote fail, right? They should learn from it and grow through it. Don't just go through it, grow through it. I think that's a big thing.
Yes, so what I want to share with you today with our guest, thank you, Cobe, for joining us.
No problem at all.
It's an honor to have you because we've known you since you guys were in 5th, 6th grade.
Yeah, roughly, I think for years, I think a few years past that, too.
Yes. Yeah. So it's cool to have you reunite with us and reconnect.
Yeah.
Now, Cobe went through a very hard experience. He lost his brother, and he also had to go through witnessing, the divorce of his parents at a young age, and that was very painful. But we are here to share the positive things that come out sometimes out of those trials, and what do we learn. And thank you so much for wanting to share your story and hopefully enlighten and add a little joy and light to others.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, in regards to pretty much the gist of it, because I can talk all day, would be, like you said, not so much looking for a distraction, but looking for something to at least give you that brief mental break, from the stress, because stress makes humans freeze every time. I think it just takes away your actual ability to perform. So relaxing lets you think better. Once you think better, you're clear-headed. You can actually approach the issues the best way you can, because at some point wallowing in self-pity just doesn't cut it, or running away from the true issues without facing the main core problem, I guess.
Yeah, and there are things that we face in life sometimes that are beyond our control. We have nothing. There's nothing we can do sometimes to prevent certain things, like illnesses or choices that other people make. So today, what we want to encourage everyone is to, stop and think. What can you do by using your talents and using your gifts to kind of get inspire yourself. You brought some things to show us as well, something very creative that you do to help you stay focused, and also this is, I guess, one of the gifts you have in the arts, the sports of the art.
Martial arts.
Martial arts.
It's kind of funny, before we even talk about it, it's like,
yes.
Cobe's like a martial arts guy. I've always kind of look up to you for that in a way, man. Growing up, I've always been interested in it, and I love that stuff too. And that's probably one of the reasons that we connected so much. Is we love athletics and martial arts and all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. So I've always looked up to you for that. So it's like seeing you still doing it and still enjoying it. So that's your creative. One of your main creative outlets is martial arts and all that stuff. So, yeah, show off your gloves.
On camera now?
Yeah,
there we go.
Yes.
There's I was thinking martial arts, a hook can be just the same as a certain, brush stroke, who knows? It's like a technique that you use to create something, even if that something isn't very nice when it comes to martial arts, but as far as an outlet goes, for, like Mark was saying, like his mother was saying, we pretty much have to actually have something that we can control a little bit to feel like we're making something in a world of our own.
Yeah.
It gives you a sense of control over your own life.
Yes.
in general too.
Like creation, right? And like doing things.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's like, so yeah, the topic of today is the importance of creatively expressing yourself. You know, everybody has a different way of expressing themselves. You know, there's art, you know, painting. Like, I brought my little art that I made. I wanted to show that off. You know, that's one of the paintings that I made. I thought that was really cool, you know. And this painting too, I made something out of nothing. My mom was gonna throw this clock away or something. It was a very ugly clock.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, man, what can I do? You know, I don't want to just. This has got a really cool frame. I can make something beautiful out of that. So I took it apart and made a cool art piece out of it. You know.
But it was during the time that I was battling during my, I believe my third surgery is when you painted this one.
Yeah, it's
So-
just a way to express
Yeah,
myself.
and-
You know, I love this, the yin yang and what it presents, balance in life, and
Yes.
you know, it's just a cool way to express myself. You know, but like as I was saying, you know, different people have different ways of expressing yourselves. They're through art. I have exercise. You know, for me, it's sports. You know, or weightlifting as well. But you know, I love basketball. I love the creative aspect to it. You know, different different ways to shoot, different moves, different crossovers. You know, there's all kinds of unique ways for you to put your own input into it, right?
That's right.
You know, other ways is writing. You know, I'm writing a book right now, and my mom's inspired me to do so. You know, and I know you're writing stuff as well.
Always writing. It's just, you know,
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's
it'll
great.
be a compilation of just random notes, you know.
Yeah, and just expressing your mind, and it's kind of like you're almost going deeper into your mind by writing, right?
Man,
Well-
like
Tell
profound.
us do you do it on a journal, or do you do it on a computer, or do you doing it on your phone?
in complete honesty, ever since I first picked it up, I know it sounds, you know, when you hear of rap at all, in general, you think 2 Chainz, you know, Lil Pump just repeating the same, like, hook, same, you know, 2 sentences and expecting it to be called rap still, when in fact the people who made the genre popular were genuine poets, you know? They spoke from their heart every single time. It came from pain. It came from lessons learned. It wasn't just a state of mind that, you know, you achieved through something you could buy.
Yes.
You know
that's
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
And, well, I mean, really, that's it.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, you know, for me growing up, I found out I was undocumented. I was not born in Mexico when I was about 9 years old, and that was a big shock for me. And during that time, ironically, on my 9th birthday, I received a journal as a gift. And I remember taking that journal and just hiding it in a drawer. I was like, who would give a little 9-year-old girl a journal, you know, just a booklet with white pages? And I hid it under my drawer, and I kept it. The only reason I kept it because it had like little jewels and shiny stuff, and you know, I love things that shine and glitter. So I just stuck it there, and a few months later, I won a contest, a folkloric dance contest in Mexico, and I was so excited. I went back, you know, told everybody in my family, and they were excited, but not as excited as I was. So I remember laying down in my bed. I couldn't go to sleep, and I was tossing and turning, and then I said, oh, I have this journal. I've never written. I'm going to write it because I'm going to be famous, and I want to write. So I remember taking my journal out and starting to write, and it became my best friend for many years. I ended up buying more journals, and by the time I was in high school, I had over 20 journals collected. And so for me, my writing became like my best friend. I had to, during those trials or times as a young kid, you would think, oh, what kind of trials would you have? But growing up with the proper documentation in Mexico, I was like an illegal alien, pretty much. Even though I spoke Spanish, everybody called me names. They were like, hey, go back to the U.S. You're not even born here. You know, the same thing that happens here happens in other countries when you're not from that country. Isn't
Right.
that funny? So I felt a lot of times insecurity, anger, confusion. I was like, okay. And on top of it, I never knew who my father was. So that was another painful little time in my life. And if it wasn't for my journals and just constantly writing every night, I don't know what would I have become. Maybe I would have put that anger into doing some bad things in my life. I don't know. So I focused that energy and that confusion in my life into the writing, and here I am now. I write children's books. I love writing, and I guess
And
I
you've
was being
inspired me.
prepared.
You've
And then I
inspired me.
inspire my son.
That's the
yes.
beauty. Another way I have written down here that I thought of creatively expressing yourself is through talking. What are we doing right now? We're talking. We're having
Yes.
a podcast, a show. Just, you know, we're just expressing ourselves and
Yeah.
and providing value and knowledge and hopefully to impact you guys, right?
Yes.
Like my mom did that to me. She taught me through not only talking. Your actions are another way of
Yeah.
expressing yourself, right? Just
yeah.
seeing my mom growing up, writing books and stuff, that inspired me to write. If I wouldn't have
Yeah.
seen that, how would I have known to write?
Yeah.
How would
So
I
that's
have known?
just- that's
She showed me an avenue to express myself, which was writing. That's such a beautiful thing,
Mm-hmm.
to express what's on your mind, right?
Yes, and we have to go on a short break. We'll be right back with this discussion.
Hello guys, welcome back to the show. So we've talked about different ways of how you can creatively express yourselves, but the biggest thing that holds people back from expressing themselves is like fear of judgment, right? Or fear of failing, or fear, like I said, fear of judgment from others. If you fail, then people are gonna be like, oh, you failed at that, haha, this, that. But in reality, you can't let that dominate you. You can't let that stop you from creatively expressing yourself, because you're never going to get better unless you practice, unless you fail. You will not get better. As Michael Jordan says, what is it? Some along the lines of, I failed a million times before, to get to where I am today, right? I missed this many shots in order for me to be great, right?
Exactly.
In order to be great, you have to fail. So don't let the criticism affect you. So yeah, what other ways, or what do you guys have to add on to that?
Well, I mean, in general, like you said it exactly, pretty much, loss doesn't really exist unless you let it be a loss, because every time you lose in competition, for example, there's something to learn from. You did something wrong. I stepped right when I should have stepped left,
Yeah.
Basically, you just have to reevaluate what you did wrong, how to fix it. It's like a problem-solving test, like adaptability in general. Like, it's basically training your ability to understand, even the upcoming challenges ahead. So,
That's beautiful. I love it. I love what you said, because actually, if we look at each problem, each trial as an opportunity to grow, and I brought something that kind of says grow what you love. I think that's priceless. When you actually grow doing the things you love, then it doesn't even feel like it's a job or it's a problem anymore. It just feels like you're naturally growing and learning by doing some of the things you love and enjoy. I always
I
go back
understand that.
to last year being the toughest time of my life. If it wasn't for the art that I created, I don't know what I would have done as well. It helped me get through it emotionally. It also helped me make a little extra money during the time that I wasn't making money, because I had to stay home, be on family leave for a long time. But again, I think at the end of the day, it all however you look at that situation or that problem, then that's how it's gonna turn out. And I
Right.
love what you said. Look at it as an opportunity. Okay, what can I solve from this? How can I deal with it? How can I solve something? So, do you want to add to this, Mark?
Yeah, well, not really to that, but I can move on to the next thing I wanted
Sure.
to talk about. So, why do we express ourselves? What's the purpose? That's, some people are like, I don't want to paint because it's going to take a long time. I might mess up this and that. Why, right? So, but in reality, if you don't like painting, then express yourself in another way, in another route.
Yeah.
Do what you love.
And we made a list of many. Repeat it
Yeah,
again one more time
art-
for people who might be confused.
Art, exercising, writing, talking, and then the fifth one that we haven't spoke about a little bit is movement.
Through dance.
dancing,
perfect.
dancing.
Yes.
You do MMA. Movement
MMA
and
is
exercise
dancing,
are kind
bro.
of. Huh?
It is dancing.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is dancing. Another.
Yes.
It's all movement. It's I don't know. It's just it's a way to express yourself, right? And movement. We're in this world where there's space, right? You gotta stretch. You gotta move. Like Ido says, Ido Portal. He's another movement guy that I study. He says, you use it or you will lose it, right? If you don't move,
Absolutely.
you're not gonna.
Oh my
your
God,
your
yes.
muscles are gonna atrophy, deteriorate.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Exactly.
So it's you got to use it or you're gonna lose it. People are like, I don't want to exercise. Yeah, but if you don't exercise, you're not gonna be able to move in a couple years because because your muscles have atrophied and you became weak. Your joints, you know, this.
Well,
and that,
that's what
right?
happened to me today. Remember, I
Yeah.
went back into exercising. I've been doing different therapy for almost about 6 months. This last surgery that was about 2 months ago left me even more broken, and I couldn't move all the way. So my daughter just gave me a stick. I should have brought the stick. This one stick has been my best friend now for 2 months, and it's teaching me to just stretch my arm, move some of the muscles because they cut me, you know, under my armpits, and it's just that stuff, that those muscles or those ligaments turned into, what do you call them? Where they get
Callus?
stuck.
Like
But
a
it's
scar
called
tissue, maybe?
scar
Scar tissue,
tissue.
there you
Yes,
go.
the scar tissue is basically stuck, and in order for me to break it and make it move again, I had to do a lot of therapy and exercise.
Yeah.
But today, for the first time, I actually went outside and started a little bit of weightlifting, a little bit of more stretching, and of course I've improved a lot.
Yeah.
But if I would say, oh no, you know, I'm not ready, and I would be scared of damaging, because I know a lot of the women, you know, we're scared when you go through a surgery like that. I mean, they cut you and they move all these things, but you can't be afraid of the pain. Yeah, the pain's gonna be there and it's gonna be uncomfortable, but you gotta learn to just break it and move forward. So I'm just connecting it to that because I lived it today.
Yeah, and I think it's very important. You know, people have been scared for my mom because they don't want her to get hurt. Because you're gonna work out, Marie. You just went through cancer surgery. How are you gonna jump right into it, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's important to go slow if you have to, right? Take it slow. Express yourself slow. You know, just start with one brush, man. Start off slow. Eventually, you'll create something beautiful, right?
That's
like
right.
that beautiful body you want, the beautiful capabilities that you want, the beautiful painting you want, the beautiful martial arts capabilities, right?
And I mean, like you were saying a little while ago, physical movement, don't even just limit it to physical. You know, if someone's a paraplegic, they can even find a way to exercise their mind, learn a new hobby, you know.
That's right.
Absolutely.
The options are endless. So, I mean, giving up, for one, it should be off the table immediately, I think.
Exactly.
People need to
beautiful.
always know that there's something they can pick up.
Never
Yeah.
give up.
Never
Wise
give
words
up.
from Kobe.
Yes, and
Hey,
we'll be right back because
okay.
we have to go on a short break.
Alrighty. We'll be right back.
Hey friends, thank you for joining us. We are here having this amazing discussion about how can you use your creativity and your gifts during hard times and trials. And we're here to knock out whatever it comes to our lives. And we're talking to Kobe, who had an experience of losing his brother and also witnessing his family go through a divorce. But he's here stronger than ever,
For sure.
trying to shine bright in this world. And what we wanted to ask you is, what can we leave the last final thoughts on what has helped you get through all this, and what would you recommend others who are battling a really hard time in their lives?
My best answer, honestly, just because I know that this is a little bit more unorthodox, it'll stick, is other people, you know, in general. They're the most valuable resource on the planet. At times when you're feeling the lowest, you could have that one friend who sends you a text message asking to hang out, you know? The one person who's willing to listen to your problem without getting into a pity party about it, you know, themselves, complaining that you got them down, you know?
Yeah.
People in general are always going to have the utmost compassion because we're all the same at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah, and that's beautiful because you know what you're doing too. You guys are sharing talents. The moment you communicate, you talk, you might discover, hey, let's go bowling, let's go boxing, let's go do this. So
Exactly.
eventually you will end up doing something together.
Exactly.
And that's the cure or the solution to your problem, is connecting with others and finding the gifts that you each possess, sharing it, and helping each other get through that moment or that hard time.
Trying to
that
bring each other
experience.
up at the same time, right?
Exactly, yes. And I think really, I write my lucky 7 because through every trial I go through, it seems like there's something connected to my number 7. But then I was thinking the other day, it's not the number, it's my attitude and the way I look at it. So with today's show, what we want to tell you is, you know, don't believe always that you have to have a lucky charm or you have to have like all these messages like I do in my house. More than anything is our mind. Our mind is the most powerful thing we possess. And the way we deal with those issues, those problems, is going to be really what's going to lift us up and get us back strong. So,
Yeah.
Mark, what would be your last words on this topic?
So you know, why should we do this? Why should we be creative? because it's fun. It makes life fun, right?
Exactly.
It adds spice to our life, you know. Having, you know, decorating your house. You know, I have this hung up in my house, and I walk in, I'm like, yo, I made that. That's pretty cool, you know.
Yes.
It's like something you accomplished. You created something beautiful, right? And even if it's not beautiful, next time you do it, it'll come out better. Hopefully, learn from your trials, right?
Don't freeze due to the fear.
Don't freeze due to the fear,
That's
because
right.
that's what a lot of people do. But now the people are watching. You have no excuse. Now you have the knowledge. Don't allow the pressure to crumble you. And maybe it will crumble you, but don't give up. Come back and try again, and maybe it won't crumble you nearly as much. So those aren't my final words, though, but those are good ones. So another thing is it makes us unique, right? Let's not all be the same. Let's not all be robots walking
For sure.
around. You know, let's be unique. Let's express
Yeah.
ourselves in a different way. Don't be unique just to be unique. But we all are naturally unique. Maybe some of us have similarities and whatnot, but we all have some difference, right? Some different gifts, some different talents. You know. And the last message I want to say is, you know, be creative in your communication. Don't be boring old guy. You know, saying the same thing over and over. You know, use your mind a little bit. God gave us this to use it. Use it or you'll lose it.
Be pretentious. Acting in itself is an act. You know,
Yeah.
you're doing nothing if you're not acting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as soon as you wake up.
And so that connects me back to the power of reading and writing. That's what we have to read, because that fills our head with information and knowledge. So that's why teachers always drill the importance of reading and writing. It kind of goes hand in hand. But how can you be smart? How can you be wise? How can you make those solutions to all the problems that we encounter? Is because we have to read and learn in order to know how to be ready for these challenges.
Yeah, and reading
So-
is like another route of conversation, right?
Yes.
It's like you can either read a book or you can talk to a wise person like my mom. Like talking to her, I can either read a book on how to write a book, or I can talk to an expert, my mom, who has written a book, right? So you can do either one, right?
Well, we have to go, unfortunately. Thank you so much for being here, Colby.
No
We
problem at
love
all.
you, and we want you back on the show.
Hey,
So
there we
please
go.
come back. And I am very happy that my son is here with me through the Shine. You're welcome back, because you were not here last week.
Yes, ma'am.
We look forward to seeing you each Thursday at 5:30 here at Shine with Mariela Cortez and Mark Sedgwick. Until next time, remember to shine bright, be a light in this world, stay positive, and look at each trial as an opportunity to grow and be the best you can be. So we'll see you soon. Take
Adios,
care.
everybody. Thanks for coming.